Hello, welcome to Project Likkutei Torah, Daf Lamed Daled, Daf 34 for Parshas Behaaloscha. We're going to learn the fourth, and fifth ice of the Mimer, Ritza Minar Zav, which is the pasuk in Zechariah, the Haftarah of the Parshas Behaaloscha, all talking about the spiritual qualities of the menorah and its practical implications on our avodas Hashem and our relationship to Hashem. Now, the previous Isos Beis was discussing the parts of Simcha Shel Mitzvah, doing mitzvahs b'simcha. That to such an extent, to the clause, it says, Tachsel Shel Abadet Tos Hashem Mekacha b'simcha b'tuvav miroiv koil. So the question is, what does it mean, miroiv koil? It means all of the 310 worlds, meaning 310 different levels and gifts that tzaddikim will receive of different levels of העונג, of pleasure in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, on all myriads of different levels and of העונג that becomes enclosed in the neshama. And that was, it means merav kol, meaning that one should serve Hashem with simcha, merav kol, meaning through all of these levels of העונג, these shy olamis, 310 worlds, and integrate these deep levels of העונג into neshama. However, the simcha of the mitzvah itself is much higher than the shy olamis, because it is not mlubsh behem, meaning that there's even higher levels of העונג that's not even mlubsh in the neshama. So the shy olamis are mlubsh in the neshama, but there's even higher levels of simcha and העונג. The fact that the mitzvahs are rצון העליון, and העונג העליון is mלובש in the mitzvahs, and it's much higher than the megדר v'slabshus, so therefore it's not able to be mlubsh in the person. Ein, as it says in the pasuk, ein lo yira'asa Elokim zasecha nishaya. Now we have a parenthesis. We will try to insert it later if we have enough time, but Einim can go into it at length here. So the true kli for internalizing and enclosing this ta'anug העליון, this supernal pleasure of Hashem, is specifically through the mitzvahs. And even though there's certain levels that are impossible to be enclosed and internalized in the neshama itself of the person, but it is able to be enclosed within the mitzvahs. And it shows them the importance of mitzvahs. So b'kitzur in Ice Gimel, we spoke about the Indian of Shai Olamais, and that's what it means, brave coil. That coil is the Shar Chamishim that unites Chachma Bina. However, the mitzvahs draw down the level of rצון העליון, which is keser, which is higher than Chachma, and this means ein lo ra'asa. And specifically in keser, you have Tarach Midi, or the 620 pillars of light, which is nimshach through the Taryag mitzvahs deraisa and the Sheva mitzvahs derabanan, and the whole level of Shai Olamos is 310 worlds. This is the lower level that in it we are mlubsh Chachma Bina. Therefore, yafasha chas b'tshuva ma'asim tovim b'olam hazeh mikoil chaya olam haba. That specifically mikoil. Why is specifically from all of the world to come? Meaning to say that alludes to merav kol yemei chayecha lahavi l'mais Mashiach, because through the bittul yesh, so the ayin, we arouse and we're mamshech the yesh amiti, the true yesh, which is Hashem. And moving on to Ice Daled. This is the Inyan of the Bרכas and Mitzvahs. Then when we do mitzvahs, we say bרכת beforehand. We say Asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotיו. Asher comes from the word ashesh b'veisecha, happy, simcha, which is lashon of shevach and hilul, praise and gratitude, on the fact that we are praising and glorifying Hashem, meaning the העונג העליון המשובח. So then when we say Asher kiddushanu, what is kiddushanu? Kiddushanu is we're sanctified in this העונג, meaning that this is the level of קדוש ומובדל, that קדוש is lashon Abdallah, of separateness. And therefore, the angels say Kadosh 3 times. Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh. V'atzvakas. And this is what we say, that Havaya tzvakas. Meaning to say that Hashem is higher than the Megder of Islabshus. And this is what it means, Kiddishanu, that it's nimshach. It's drawn down for us, b'mitzvotיו, in the mitzvahs, that through fulfilling mitzvahs, which is Hashem's Racon, it's mislabish העונג העליון, then we're enclothing the supernal העונג, that also, that's not nimshach, this gilu העונג lamata, haloi kaimalan lakicha al yidei davar acher shma lakicha. Brought down the Gemara Sukkah and in Shulchan Aruch that in the context of Hilchos Lulav, that if one grabs part of the lulav, but of one of the minim of the lulav, but it's connected and tied up with the other 4 species, it's considered you actually carried all of those 3 species. So the same principles applied here, that that the mitzvahs are, so to speak, like a treasure chest. We can't see all of the infinite godly העונג of treasure that's in the treasure chest, but it doesn't matter, because when you do the mitzvah, you are drawing down all of those treasures that you know about and that you don't know about that's in the treasure chest. And the koyach for this islabshus of העונג העליון, since it's through kima mitzvahs, which is Hashem's Racon, was specifically given to the Yisrael, to the Jewish people. And that's not the case with regards to the malachim. And it wasn't given to the malachim, the angels, because the angels, they requested to Shamayim, give your glory on the heavens. But Hashem decided not to give the Torah to the angels because Yisrael alu b'machshava, Jewish people ascended in the thought of the Jewish people, that into Hashem's machshava, that Yisrael should receive the Torah. That the Jewish people are on the level of pnimiyas ha'elamus, or the angels, the malachim, are on the level of chitzonius. Therefore, they don't have the koyach to mamshech העונג העליון through asiyas and mitzvahs like the Jewish people do. Now, therefore, the neshamas are davka called ner, a candle, or lamp, which is the level, which is a kli kibul, it's a vessel to receive the oil and the wick, which is the level of ner mitzvah. That a mitzvah is mamshech. That the mitzvah mamshech in them, in the ner, and through them the העונג העליון is able to mamshech the העונג העליון through the mitzvah, which acts just like a ner, is able to mamshech the light that results from the ner. And this is the idea that we make in our brachas, we say Asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotיו. The meaning is that kiddushanu is the idea of kiddushin, like in the chasna, arei at mekudeshes li. The bracha is a hidah, is mission, the fact that this koyach to be sanctified is specifically given to the Jewish people. and this koyach to mamshech העונג העליון is given to the Jewish people through the ability to perform mitzvahs, and the fact that Hashem separated us from all the other angels and all the other nations, and that gives us a special koyach that's even greater than the malachim, and specifically through the hamshacha of the Zayin Rayim, these 7 shepherds, so these 7 tzaddikim, which are represented by each of the 7 branches of the menorah. And interestingly enough, Aaron HaKohen is actually one of these 7, that of these 7 shepherds that mamshech the hamshachas. That's the inyan of Behaaloscha and Eres, the idea of elevating the neshamas of the Yidden al mil pnei menorah. And now we have a parentheses here that I encourage all to learn inside. The inyan of pnei hamenorah, parts of pnimi, parts of chitzain, and moving on past the parentheses. And all of this is an explanation of the idea of a ner, of the candle being compared to a neshama, and the idea of a ner being comparable to the mitzvahs. And in order to understand what it means, Torah or, so we say ner mitzvah, the Torah or, the Torah is light, is that we know that the Torah was derived from Hashem's Chachma. And Chachma has in it the revelation of the level of ta'nug, which is much higher and beyond Chachma. As we know that when any matter of Chachma falls on, comes on a person, and that light, so to speak, above his head turns on, he becomes filled with a great level of simcha and ta'nug. And so to the Torah, which is on the level of Chachma, there is in it this level of Gilui Einig Elyon, and in it and through it, meaning through in the Torah and through the Torah, we're able to reveal the Einig Elyon that's enclosed in the mitzvahs, and they are the level of Rtzon, that there is enclosed this Einig in a concealed manner, and through the Torah, we're able to reveal the Einig. And therefore, the Torah is analogous to light, that it's like light illuminates, the oil and the wick, and ascends the name of Or, that specifically through the fact that the oil is, that the light, the flame is holding on to the wick and the flame and the oil. So to the Torah, which is an explanation of the mitzvahs, it's the revelation of the ha'ara that's concealed in the mitzvahs, and then in it and through it, through the Torah, we're able to mamshech this Einig Elyon from a state of concealment to a state of revelation. This is what it means, this inyan of Shai Olamis, these 310 worlds, that's nimshach from Chacham and Bina, and then we have this gilu of ta'nug elyon. That also the main hisgalus of Or Sof in this level of Or Pnimi is only in Chachma, as it is written, Havaya b'Chachma, specifically. And one can look in the Ramaz. He explains that Or is Chachma Shiba Chachma, etc. So what's the inyan of the wick, the psila? That is, like, according to that which is written in the Ma'ir Oyer, that this is the level of Shem Ban, which is typically attributed to the level of Malchus, Shem Havaya as it relates to Malchus. It's possible to say that this is Shaykh also to the Neshamas of Yisrael, that the fact that they're called Ner, this is mitzad that the Neshama ascended in Hashem's thought, that therefore they, mean the Yidden, the Neshamas, are kli to receive the oil and the light, as we spoke about earlier, that im kol zeh, hari light nitna hamater rakli de hisab shusa baguf. That the Torah was only given through the enclosement in the body and the nefesh bamis to refine shemban. This is the whole inyan of the psila, that in it, davka, the light of Torah comes about. However, according to that which is written earlier in the name of Mikdash Melech, the psila is Yisoid, represents the sphere of Yisoid. This mamshech the shaman, mamshech the oil, and this is by way that which is written in Tehillim, kashemen atoiv al reish yer zaken zeketal chermain sheyered al haret sioin. That the level of sioin, this is the midah of tzadik yisoid olam, which is sphere yisoid. That in it, through the sphere of yisoid and through the sphere of yisoid, is nimshach this shemen atoiv, this good oil. So it's able to bring about that transition between the oil and the light. Now that is ois daled. Now moving on to ois hey. However, behold, hine kol zeh, all this level of Torah mitzvahs that as they are lamaila, up in their source. The mitzvahs is Hashem's Ratzon, which is higher than Chachma, and the Torah is the level of Chachma, which is the explanation of the mitzvah. And the level of its level, down here below, is from the level of the mitzvah. Meaning to say that the whole level of the Torah, the very level of the Torah, is based on the higher level that the mitzvah is at. However, in order to mamshech, from Adam to mamshech, within and on his soul from above to below, in order so we should have this gilui of the Torah mitzvahs in the soul of man, is written v'chachma techayev ve'aleha. That the chachma, which is Torah, enlivens her husband. Meaning to say, ve'aleha, that represents the mitzvahs. That the mitzvahs are like the spouse of the Torah. It says in our sages that called Talmud shemevi lidei mesa. Great is the study of Torah, for it brings about action. Now, to explain this inyan al pi Mamerzal, our sages say in Gemara and Brachas, in the Mishnah over there, that why does Shema come before V'hayim Shemaya? And that in the beginning, we have to makabel of Olmach Shemayim. You have to receive Olmach Shemayim. Then afterwards, you have to receive all mitzvahs. Because Shema, the Shema Yisrael V'Elokeinu V'Echad, represents Kabbalas Olmach Shemayim, and the second paragraph of the Shema, or the first paragraph of the Shema, of the V'hayim Shema paragraph, represents Kabbalas Ol Mitzvahs. And the inyan is that Kabbalas Ol Malchus Shemayim is the first parsha of the Shema. And so the idea of Shema represents listening, which alludes to understanding. Just like we say in the blessing of Abbas Olam, in the Bרכת blessing before Krishma, we say, "V'sein b'libeinu bina lahavinu haskel." We ask Hashem to give us the understanding and the ability to understand and to contemplate, which is connected to the idea of Shema. So lahavin is meaning to understand something, thing within another thing. And lahaskel, davar mitoch davar. And lahaskel is the inyan of re'iyah, of seeing something that is able to come into existence out of nothingness. And this baininess is the inyan of gula al resha. Because the menorah has these 7 branches, 7 lamps on it, which represents the 7 midos. Hagdula, which is chesed, gevura, which is obviously gevura, as it brought down in Divrei Yamim, which is love of avanira, etc. But how do we fulfill the avanira, the vahavta, specifically through the hisbainanus in the achdus of Hashem, which is the love of yichudi love? How everything is absolute nothingness before Hashem, and completely batal b'mitzias mamish. That only that in Hashem's goodness, Hashem enlivens within us every single day from absolute nothingness. That if it wasn't for the fact that Hashem creates the worlds every second, meaning we would be absolute nothingness. Through that, his beinanus, we can come to the level of love. This is the level of Kabbalah Malchus Shemayim. That's this name of Havaya, that Shem Havaya should be on the level of Elokecha Mamish. And anyone who is Marich Be'echad, whoever extends saying the word Echad, this is levels Mamshech the Gilui of Ava with Yeser Seis, with greater strength. This is the inyan of a Gula al Resha, the bowl on top of the menorah, facing down on the top of the menorah. That from this idea of upside down bowl, this idea of hamshacha of the zayin of the 7 neros of the menorah, which is only happens through the hisbaininus. Powerful parentheses that we are going, that explains greater depths what it means Resha, Gula Resha, and then the hisbaininus. Now, after the parentheses, we know that from the Hafta until Visharecha, that's the whole first paragraph of the Shema, there's exactly 42 words. And the 42 words correspond to the 42 words of Ana B'Chayach, which is the inyan of elevation, Ta'ala. And that there are specifically, in the first paragraph of the Shema, there's 7 psukim. And in each pasuk, you have 6 words. Just like Bishtaim Yechasa, Bishtaim Ye'oifeif. Pasuk in Yeshaya. That this is the inyan of Ad Pircha. And this is the inyan of the Shiva Nerisah, 7 Neres, which represent the 7 Midos, spoke about earlier, which are the 7 psukim of Ana B'Chayach. And Rashi explains the Gula al Reisha, the Gula, says, K'may goyles iliois, pasuk in Yehoshua, the bowl on top of it, the upper springs, so to speak, which is the lashon of Mayan, Hanevia, this spring, because Bina is called a river that comes out from Eden. And this is the level of Nachale Shaman, says in Micha. The Gemara Tleser Nahara Da'afrismaina Dafarsamaina Dachya. That this is the river of oil that's alluded to in Micha, is, as the Gemara explains, that it's these 13 rivers of balsam oil. It smells really good, pure balsam oil. We can also say that the gula comes from an inyan of Gulgalta, the skull. Then that which is written in the Midrash, Rabbah, the end of Kehelis, on the pasuk Vasarutz Gula Sazav, that this represents the Gulgoilas. And this is the level of Ava Rabbah and the Racon that is higher than Seichel. And there are other explanations of the word, of the inyan of Vagula. And in Mirz Hashem, we will explain the other explanations of Vagula in Mirz Hashem. And that is I say in a nutshell, and that is the end of the share for today. I am so happy who stuck around to listen, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care.